Testing 1, 2. This phone is aggravating. I decided to go from the regular laptop. There will be a camera today, and I found out how to downsize the camera where it would actually work. I was able to turn the camera down to 360 and get it working. And I do have my jacket on today. And I'm not like Brian Stelzer. I'm sort of like the dude in AC/DC today. I got sport shorts on and my sports coat on, meaning sports like you would play basketball or sports in. And yes, I did scratch my leg. I don't know how I scratched my leg. I see it now. I thought I felt like I scratched my leg this morning. I don't know what I scratched my leg on. I see it. But anyways, I'm not in my underwear. I've got my sport, I'm like a preacher today. I got the jacket on, but I got a t-shirt on. So we're going to get this started. If I can see how to switch it back over to the game input. Just behind my camera over there. I've got the sports coat on today though. My nice jacket. The guide prepares my table before my enemies. I'm wearing my jacket. Okay, let's see if we got this thing rolling, shall we? I may stick with this game to get down here and get my controller though. I should have done it while I had the one moment, please. My controller fell off in the freaking floor. I'm bringing you this stream the best I can today. It didn't go exactly how I planned it, but it's going. Like I said, I spent a whole hour just tweaking. Now, I need to probably make an archive recording just in case we lose some feed. Or just in case I'm dropping out. We're going to make an archival recording as well. I'm not sure I like the angle of this camera. I'm doing the best I can with it. It's a little over. See, I didn't get the table out. I've got a table that I keep here all the time. And I just moved my game wallets off and flip. The laptop's one of them laptops you can flip around. So I just flipped it around and pulled out this freaking big keyboard to use here if I need to type. This thing comes with that behemoth computer that I don't hardly use that keyboard. That's what we're doing today. And let me see if I've got a feed yet. I need to see what I sound like. So let me mute my microphone. I don't hear. And everything is right. Now the problem is I'm going to have to probably hook in the headset, which is going to be a problem. But I got to get back over this way. So I'll probably put the one moment please back up till I'm ready to start streaming. Because we're going to have that popping in this if I don't put the headset on. I should have put it on. I don't like where this camera's positioned at. I think it's worse than the other position that I had it. Normally it would be sitting over this way, and you can't see my hand, but the table would be, it's out in the middle of my freaking walkway. I can't hardly get to my door and stuff, so. I just didn't want to go through that today. I didn't want to go through that. I'm going to eventually set it up where I'm streaming from another laptop. I'm going to streaming from one laptop and capturing and recording and the images, because this doesn't always work like it's working today. It's actually working today, but it don't always do that. I had that little space there where I've got all of my... I may go offline and see what kind of angle I have with that. I know, and we'll just go ahead and do it today, and then I'll figure this thing out later. I'll figure the position of this camera later. We'll deal with it today. At least I'm not partially nice today. If I had a better shirt on, I'd be nicer. Be the Reverend of Gaming. I used to have a name I went by in the chat room, Pastor Jack Biden. And I got that name of Biden out of the, what was it? Up there where they was talking about the judges or whatever. It was a gimmick, you know, like it. But anyway, I guess I'm Pastor Jack Biden today. Pastor Jack Biden. I got my Bible up here behind me. I had to get my Bible out. I'm not mocking y'all. I'm being serious. I really do have a Bible right up here above my head. It's the NIV, but it's a Bible. I've got some King James this one's boxed up over here in my boxes that I've got stuff boxed up. Yeah, I guess I'm Pastor Jack Biden today on the stream. I got that name from Jack Benefit. He was who I was listening to back then. And I mixed it with that name of Biden. So I'm going to put this over to one moment, please, and then we're going to finish getting set up here. And we'll get my controller anyway. Oh, and I got to set the microphone up because we're going to have it popping it all day. And it's going to that red again. Okay. I'm sick of this dang internet. I'm about ready to go Jimmy Cornette on them. Did y'all read Jimmy Cornette? I'm about ready to go Jimmy freaking Cornette on them. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2 3. I got mic now. Where's that phone at? We're gonna find out. I got this controller in my hand. See what it sounds like, y'all. I'm not gonna bother turning it down.
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2.
You know, I got one more issue. Got one more issue. I was hung up the remote. I wanted to make sure I had my shorts on tonight today. Because this camera has a bigger angle. And I was afraid that my underwear might get in the picture. And I'd be like, Stelzer on CNN. I don't want to be a schmuck in my jockey shorts. So we made sure I was fully dressed today. And I thought, well, if I'm going to fully dress, baby, I'm going to put the jacket on. I look sharp in this jacket. Not so sharp today, but normally I'd be sharper than this. Okay, we're going to get started. And it's going in the red, I see. Let me hung up that TV remote. Be ready. What do I do with that mouse? You know, I'm not even going to be able to control this dang thing. I'll get the, I'm not going to put the 1 moment please up. I'm going to get up and get that controller. I'm going to shut my lens cover down. I was able to find the remote control. I hate this remote control. I done had to replace this freaker. Uh-oh. I've got the Xbox. No, it's the PlayStation 3 controller. Right there in front of the freaking TV thing. It's worse than it was last night. I got that thing extended as much. It's choking me to death. I'm like, whoa, tonight. I got something around my head. Or today. I keep saying tonight. I guess in some ways I like this better, though, as I'm not breaking my freaking neck. I'm just playing like I normally play. Just I normally don't have a camera in front of me. I guess I could stick with this game for a little bit. How long did I waste getting that started? 11 minutes, y'all. Well, I'm hot in this jacket. Dang it. Okay, let me get me a sup of water before we start. I won't knock that controller off. If I do. I'm gonna drop my lid. Normally I would have my water sitting here where all this stuff's at, so I'm having to stretch a little different to get my water. Like the computer, I don't usually have the computer on this table. This thing's gonna choke me to death, this coat on. It ain't going down right. Okay. I was trying to avoid it, but we gonna have to, baby. Oh, I need to get out of that. I don't want to far away right now. I'm barely play one-on-one. Nitro. That water's gonna make me belch. I don't like belching on cameras. Yeah, I knew this one had a wider angle. I didn't use the old one. I wish I could find that old one. I'd show it to you. How ancient. Y'all would see how ancient it is if I could actually find it. But I don't see. Oh, I see it. It's right down there. It's on top of my CD wallets. Boy, that thing is ancient, but it always works. I keep it around. I'm turning it down, so I'm going freaking red. Some schmuck is burning something. Some schmuck. Okay. Let's turn the big heads on. I love those big freaking heads. I've never played a woman's match with the heads on. Her head's already big enough. Let me play with Charlotte. Put it up against Mystique. Oh, but ain't too. I hope I've got enough audio over there on the TV. Yeah, it's not gonna turn up. I just can't get past that Sony remote. There we go. Maybe they got it. Sony remote, Sony controller. Actually, what's up there right now is the Series S, the gold one, and the PlayStation 3 one. That's what's blocking it. Oh my God! I've never seen a woman's match with hands before! Oh my Lord! That is freaking funny! Look at the hair! You can't hardly play with the preachers though. Yeah, there we go. They had a concert at Turnbuckle last night. I was planning to go and I didn't get no freaking sleep. And I left the minute I got my shower. I mean, I fell asleep and I woke up right before they were coming home. Whoa! I've made this part of my karaoke from now on, though. I'm not doing karaoke ever without the jacket. I'm gonna be like the rock stars of the past. I'm gonna be always dressed up, baby. Now I'm not always dressed up because I wear my sweatpants, but the jacket's gonna be a part of it. Indeed, I'm gonna get me other of these jackets. That guy, he's going out of business, but he's opening a small. He's older. He's a real old guy. He's been around since the '60s. He's getting out of the tux business, but he's going. I'm sure he'll get some nice jackets. I'm gonna go over as soon as he gets open. I'm gonna start watching his store. I'm gonna get me some more nice jackets, y'all. I was always slavish, and then I saw myself in the jacket, and I thought, damn, I'm like my daddy. My daddy, he was a sharp. He was, the Blues Brothers. My daddy was Blues Brothers before the Blues Brothers existed. He was a sharp man. He was a sharp man. I want to be a sharp dressed man too. Woo! Like Ric Flair. Let's play a little bit of Ric Flair. I was telling Paulie's son the other night, or a turnbuckle, that his daddy, you know how Flair looked in the '88? His daddy looks just like how Flair looked in 1988. He really does. Because that's the one I downloaded. When I saw it, I said, that looks like Paulie. So when I got one of the Flairs, I made sure that was the one I got. And I'm not finding him for whatever freaking reason. I don't like how they got this set up. I have a hard time finding the characters. This is a mess. No one knows I like this game. It's a freaking mess. Everything about it's a freaking mess. Let's get to the all. Make sure I don't pass the R. You know, Paul Lee, he's the guy who owns Turnbuckle. So, they had a concert there last night, but I was planning to go, but I was just like I said, I passed out just as soon. Woo! I passed out just as soon as I got my shower. See, I want to put him up against. I'm gonna pick on EC3. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, I want to be a sharp dressed man now. I was always a slob when I was young. I was a slob. I had my time to go back. I'd bought me some nice freaking clothes. I blew my money on video games and action figures in the past. And in the 2000s, it was mostly music I spent it on, like making my own music. Music production cost. Making records. Well, I made the records here just last few years. Oh, God. I hate that pen. If I had my time to went back over, I'd bought me some nice clothes. I'd been a sharp dressed man, baby. Sharp dress, no more scrubs for me. I want to be nice from now on, baby. Nice. Life in the fast lane, and even though I'm poor, even though I'm a po' boy, I'm gonna at least look sharp. Down, 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 down. Life in the fast lane. I bet I don't even know if I'm still picking up anymore since I messed with the microphone. I probably need to test. Let's go ahead and test before we do anything else. I'll be 30 seconds behind. Sharp dressed man, baby. Yeah, there we go. Life in the fast lane. They were good and bad. I think I'm gonna switch games. Let's go back to GTA. I never did get back to that game there. I downloaded it, Isolation, and I haven't played that in a while. BioShock. I ain't even really been doing Fallout lately. Spider-Man in Fortnite. Yeah, I'll do a little bit of GTA. Life in the fast lane. We'll play a little bit more Christine today. Just don't like that pen. I hate that freaking pen. I hate that freaking pen. They were good and bad. Life in the fast lane. Everything. All the time. Life in the fast lane. I start doing my podcast on video. Over there on UGE2. Where you don't get strikes. Where you don't get banned. I'm sure they've had to deal with some things. Like if you had some schmuck up there, he was talking all kinds of racist garbage, and I'd say they'd probably have to eventually take that down. There ain't no sense in that, man. I mean, that's weak. When you can't handle other people's fucking opinions, you're fucking weak. I'm gonna say it, you're a fucking weakling. If you're that insecure about your beliefs probably ain't worth having. Just saying. That's freaking weak. You're a weakling. Yes, I'm gonna tell you, you're all weaklings. You're weak. You got no strength. You got no confidence in what you believe in. Yeah, I'm looking right at you. You see me? You see me, the new little schmuck at Twitter? You little schmuck at Twitter? You've got no confidence in yourself. That means you're a loser. When you don't believe in yourself, you're a loser. You're a freaking loser. Just saying. When you don't believe... Actually, though, he's just doing what he's been told by the government. And that's even lower. That's really low. When you just do what people tell you to do, that means you're nothing at all. I know I'm not talking politics. I'm talking about just not, living. I mean, be yourself. Be yourself and no one else. That was a Hinder song, too. Just be yourself. It's off their first album. When you ain't confident enough to believe in yourself, you're a loser. You're a freaking loser. I'm sorry. Hate to hurt your feelings. Actually, like one of my favorite wrestlers says, sorry, not sorry. Cowboy James Storm. When you don't believe in yourself, I mean, hang it up. Hang your boots up. Go home. Go fishing or something. Don't be a part of the public eye if you can't handle things. You can't handle, don't get out of the kitchen. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, all go home. If you can't handle it, go home. Huh? Well, how did I get that? How did I get that? Do y'all see that? How do I get that? Whoa! Now, how did I get that? Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Praise you, Jesus. I mean, I'm not bothered by other people's opinions, though. I'm not phased one way or the other. She's in her lingerie. Okay, let's put her some clothes on. I remember I'd put her to bed right before she took her shower, so we'll just go in and dress her. I remember I gave her a shower and put her to bed. I didn't put it on. What about that way the yellow outfit today? Life in the fast lane surely might moves your mind. Okay, here we go. I just checking. Sometimes people come in my rooms and speak, and I'll ignore them. I don't literally ignore them. I just don't see them. I'm going back to the bedroom. We was going to the outside. Let her be a businesswoman today. Okay, let's see. This controller, I don't like this one. I like its color, but I don't like it like I like my Series S one. Oh, she won 500,000, but she's got 1,000 bounty on her. That's funny. That is funny. Let's get her a nightstick. I wish I had her a police outfit. That would be impersonating a police officer, though. Do they not have leather outfits like a cat suit or anything in this game? Cat suit and a hat. I wouldn't mind putting her in the cat suit and the hat. You know, the little hat. She's slow today. She get a vehicle? Which vehicle should she get? I should have played the S today. Of course, at first I wasn't used to the S one. Now I'm not used to this one. I played it all month. The S. Actually, we're not. We're still in the early part of the month. What is the date? It's the 12th. Today is the anniversary of the 12-12-12 concert. Now I'm going to tell y'all something about that. You know Nirvana? I'd been banned out of the charts for longest. They made their appearance on that thing. Well, about around that same time, I recorded Something in the Way, Woo, and put it out as a cover. Well, I kid you not, the day I released that thing, they appear on 12-12-12 with Paul McCartney of the Beatles. And I got into the top charts of that thing, and I even got up into the locally, the global charts. I mean, I jumped about 20,000 in the global, like 20,000, and just that global, just for putting that song out right when they made. Because see, I didn't know they was gonna do it. I was already recording the song, but I didn't know they was planning to. That's just when I got it done. See, I sent it off to Time. He did my music. I did the vocal, and I sent it off to the mixers, production, to mix it. I mean, to master it. I'll tell you, if I knew Cody Hansen, I'd had him to back then. You know, he was doing that stuff for a while. He even did my one record, UFOs in the Sky, and I Don't Want You Anymore, and he did that auto-tune to my vocal. That was neat hearing me in auto-tune. I've never heard me in auto-tune. He cleaned me up like I would be if I was put out on a record company. I ain't even asked him to do none of that. I just asked him to master it. I was having trouble. And I said, normally I can do this myself. The other dudes, he was a little over what they was going to charge. So I thought, well, it's worth it because I'm working with him. You know, I'm a big fan of Ender. I wear that as a badge of honor. Just know, I mean, I know it was paid production, but wow, I worked with Ender. We seen him 30-something times. That's wow, I worked with Ender. Like I said, that was just a little different. I was going to pay these other people to do the same thing. And they were people I'd worked with for a long time. But he was charging just a little over them. I'll tell the exact amount, but he was just a pinch over. I went ahead and paid the difference. I wear it with a badge of honor, y'all. That's the first time I've ever actually worked with musicians that were really I mean, these other people, they may be musicians, they don't tell who they are. Time now. I think he works with some big ones. I worked with Time for years. I worked with those other people for years too because they mastered my second CD. The first CD I had mastered, he was a Grand Ole Opry person. You know, my daddy watched the Grand Ole Opry. He was a Grand Ole Opry. He was one of the musicians at the Grand Ole Opry. You know, one of them that played one of the, I forget what instruments he played. Was it guitar? Bass? Guitar or bass? It was one of them. He was one of those. He also played with several bands. I think he even toured with Johnny Cash one time. I believe that was part of his entourage. I know Billy Joe Royal was one of them. My ex-brother-in-law, first ex-brother-in-law, I think he did some stuff for him too, like IDEO or something. He went on. He was on the road with them. Was it Billy Joe Roy? I don't remember. Well, we're talking about kid 80s, 40 years ago almost. It's getting close. We were kids. Anyway, he worked with him. I think he did tour with Johnny Cash. I kind of like that too, because he mastered my first CD. That's the guy that mastered it. And I was going to get those same people that mastered. Indeed, they're normally the ones I'd work with. They're still around, by the way. Indeed, they was offering their 2001 prices all this week. Year. Because I think it was their anniversary. They were my second CD. The one with all the songs on it. Like My Girl, She's a Liberal. And Circle of Friends. And that was the CD they mastered. He mastered the one with UFOs in the sky and stuff. And I recorded that thing on an 8/4-track recorder. Tape recorder. Not CD, not digital audio. The tapes, like a tape player there. Like a 4-track recorder. I was going Nirvana-ish. Like Sonic Youth-ish when they would do demos. They'd record on 4 and 8-track tape recorders. Well, and Duff McKagan would use those 4-track recorders too. Of Guns N' Roses fame. And so I thought, well, I know this is the 2000s, and I know I can do it another way, but I'm doing it the old school. And I was as old school on that as you could come. Now, later on, I wasn't too happy with it, because I think I should have done it the better way. So that's what those songs were. They were re-records that I did with Cody. 2 of my songs on that album, I didn't do the whole album. I was thinking about doing the whole album, but I was having trouble mixing those things. If I'd mixed and mastered the whole album, you know what that cost? You'd be up there in the band levels, and you'd be wanting to make some money. In other words, you'd be like a record company, and you'd want to make that. You wouldn't be wanting to just put it out for free. You know what I'm saying? Put it out and not get anything back. You're never, because you're at my level. Even those little cents you get off that Napster and stuff, it never ever pays you back what you ever even put in that CD. Never. If you're on my level. Now, if you're somebody big, you'd probably pay it off real quick. I haven't even ever paid back. It got back a penny of any of it. Not even the first recording I made. Because I would save it up, I'd take a little bit out of this check, a little bit out of that check. I had because I recorded the songs with an artist that was doing my music. I had just $200 per song in the recordings. $200 per song, and I'd save it up. And it took me a whole year to put that album out. Because I'd record them, and then I would put my vocals down, and then I finished it, and I left off at 9 songs. Because I had 200 in each song. So you see what I put in that first album. You never ever get back what you put in it. And now when I create my own music, I don't have that much. I don't have as much into it anymore. I don't even have the money to do it anymore. Don't even have money to save to do it. Of course, I started using the freaking credit cards. See, that third album, this is the third album, actually. I did the first and second one that way. I took the shortcut on the third one. I started credit carding. And that was stupid. I didn't really have that much in it anyway. I still had to have the songs mastered. You know what I'm saying? I figured out that first CD one time. I thought it was like $1,100 or something like that. I had it. $1,100 or $1,100. That's what I mean. Just the recording alone. I have never ever got that money back. Never. But I had my mind set on having an album, and I didn't care what it costed. Money don't mean a thing to me. I cared about doing the music, not the album. I mean, not the money. It was my dream, and I seen it come true. And I wasn't going to wait for it to come true. I made it come true. You know, a lot of people, they wait on somebody to make them. Like these bands out here, they're playing. I got to get signed. They want to be made. Me, I wanted to just do it. And I didn't care what it costed. Now, I did take the cheapest options that I could. But there was some of the people that charged less, I mean more for less of what he done. Like there was some people that would charge you $300 for a acoustic guitar, when his were around $200, $190 something. So I rounded off. I believe it was about $190 for a whole 5-piece instrument. And you'd pay these other people $300. A lot of them were Nashville people. And you pay them $300 just for an acoustic. So I went with him. He was in Hollywood. I went with him. And like I said, I'd save that money up. I'd just take a little bit here, a little bit there. I should have kept doing it that way. Because if I kept doing it that way, I would have never gotten debt. I didn't get in debt that first album I did. But it took a full year to put that thing out. And the second one, it was about the same. I did a little more songs on it, but I took some cheap roads on it. Like, Tied to Defense Post, that guy only charged $15 for his keyboard and stuff. And I made several of them myself. So, I don't know exactly how much the second one had into it, because I took some cheap cuts. I'll have to go back and look at how many were actually... Oh yeah, the last one, I completely created the last one myself. It was just this crazy guitar stuff I was doing. Wow, 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 wow. And I added a metronome to it. I cut it down. It was originally a 19-20-minute recording. Me just doing crazy screams that I faded out. You can sort of still hear them, where I faded them down. Just noise, like grunge noise. Just, like grunge was known for. It was known for making noise. Well, it was just noise. So I made it and Tied to Defense Post cheaper to have the extra songs on it. Because, I stopped at 9 that first time. Because when you're saving up and you're recording, it takes a long time. You put your album out. And I remember the third one, I just made all that myself, too. I bought the software. This guy had a software suite that he was selling online. I used it. In other words, it was software, but it was an online software. But you had to pay for a subscription, to use it. In other words, it premium. You paid him one fee and he used it. I don't think it works anymore because it used Adobe. If he didn't go in there and update its plugins, well, then I guess you probably can't use it anymore. that CD I put on credit on mastering it. That was stupid too. Because when you master them CDs, those are usually high dollar too. And I'd already spent credit on silly things. So that was not the smart thing to do. And then I put my 2 records on credit. What I have in the 2 records? 200 on one of them, 300 in the one I made with Cody. You know, total, and that was concluding the record and the master. 200 on the first record, so that was 500 there on credit. Done. But it was my dream to see a record. Now the problem is, in today's world, you don't have the money to save. Like I say, you nickel and dime. You're nickeling and diming by the end of the month. In today's world, you're nowhere. You're taking every little penny just to eat and live. Boy, I was stupid in the past. Stupid. Really dumb. I think it was like every other month I was getting a song done. Every other 2 months. That's what it was. Like I'd do one 2 months later, do another, and 2 months later, do another, and 2 months later. So it was a total year and a half before I actually put it out. That's 9 songs, so you can count it up. Every other month I was getting a song. Like they'd be about a month or 2 in between, and then one time we had it hard, and so I didn't get it that. So it was even more delay, and it didn't come out to June 2006. I started working on December 2004, and then come out to June 2006. So that was several months I didn't get them because we were having it hard, and I had to take my money for stuff that mattered, not just junk. But I'd save it up, like save it. I didn't just take, like I might take $25 out of this month and 50 out of the next. 50 out of that month or 50 out of the next. Just put it up, stash it up somewhere, and then when I was ready to buy my song, I'd buy my song. That's how I done. Ain't no stashing anymore. Indeed, I used my commie money to buy the console last year, or early this year. The commie money. I was going to stash the commie money. I probably should have stashed the commie money. But it'd be gone by now anyway, because every month we're having to just. I bought some food with the commie money as well. Like a lot of my turnbuckle orders, I put on some of that commie money. Especially at the end of the month. The very end of the tail end of the month. Yeah, I figured it up one time. I think I figured it up to about 1,100. I thought, guy, I should have put that 1,100 up instead of putting on a stupid CD. But at the time, that's what I wanted to do. It didn't matter, But it mattered to me. The scheme of things, it didn't matter. I wasn't doing it for money. I was just doing it to do a project. Something I always dreamed about doing. My dream. My dream. Like I said, I wasn't sitting around waiting on no producer to produce my album. I wanted to do it myself. And I wasn't waiting for somebody to back me with their money. Or going around begging for handouts. You know, there's a lot of people begs for handouts. I don't beg for nothing. If I can't get it on my own, you don't like the way I'm living, just leave this long hair country boy alone. I ain't asking nobody for nothing. 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 I don't have to ask nobody for nothing either. I wished I wasn't disabled. I wished I was able to get out here. But I'm telling you, I wouldn't take no scrubs and I wouldn't take no seconds. The only thing is you'd have the damn government still in everything you got. Damn those thieves in the government. And you are a bunch of thieves. These commies are even worse thieves than them. They want to take everything. They don't want you having property. They don't want you having a house. They want you their slave. They want you their little government slave, and I'm going to have to talk about that on the podcast. Because we're going places that you can't go on the game feed. So I'll talk about that on the podcast.
I heard you were a savvy investor, shall we say? Yes, I like that, a savvy investor.
You know, I saw an article on this about the twitching thing. People would throw up, well, you're on Twitch or you're doing podcasts and this and that. You could do that for a living. There'd be people that actually throw that up at me. I know it. I can hear it. Well, I read an article about this other day. This guy, he's making a lot on Twitch. He's making a whole lot. But like the woman who was writing the article said, this is unsecured. And if he ain't putting it up, if he ain't storing it up somewhere, he's probably been dumbass. He's probably been stupid. He's not secured. I wouldn't be secure. I wouldn't be able to work for a podcast. I'd be banned. I'd be like Alex Jones. They'd get me before I even probably made my first $1 million. I think he made his first $1 million off commercials, didn't he? I think he told that. He did voiceovers. And he made his first $1 million. I could probably do voiceovers if somebody would hire me to do them. But, you know, I'm not, even this ain't no guarantee. Somebody would throw that up at me, it wouldn't be guaranteed. It's not, and that was what they asked you when they're talking about disability anyway. Indeed, that judge that I had, he was really picky about that. Them old women saying, well, he could do this and he could do, they were doing everything to make sure I didn't get my disability. And that judge asked them, is this secured? I mean, is this guaranteed? Well, no. I mean, I know there ain't no such thing as no guarantee. But, I mean, this is unsecured. This isn't secured. Like that article pointed out about that guy that's making millions off Twitch. It's unsecured. It's not guaranteed. They can take this all away from you. They can take this stream. Unless you build your own site and you stream from your own site, and you know what that costs us? Jones has had to actually do that, where he's billed himself, and you know they hate it. They literally do hate that he billed himself. And I can't always do it. There was several times this week I wanted to go on, I wasn't able. I just wasn't able, y'all. I've been tired all week, and that's how my whole life's been. Even my music was like that. There's times I'd be wanting to record and wouldn't be able to do it. But because there was months in between, I about fell off there. There was months in between it. There's months in between it I could rest, you know. But that I was really bad when I did the third album. I mean, my foot, I was probably about almost close to losing that foot. It had disintegrated. My doctor, he even got on to me because I wasn't able to come to the doctor. He said, "Why didn't you come to the doctor?" He saw my foot how it was when it started healing. So I wasn't able. I said I'd had to come in an ambulance. My foot had just about disintegrated away. And a medicine had attacked it and it went wrong. And I started telling that was when we started talking. I figured out it because I was reading the side effects and I didn't realize it was going on. I know had the foot pain, but I didn't know what was going on until I seen it. And I made an appointment. So we're going to change this blood pressure pill. It's hurt me. I figured out, and I showed him my foot. And he said, "You should have got here sooner." I said, "Well, if I'd come back then, I'd been in an ambulance." We don't have money for ambulance rides. I don't think they pay for that. Just has to stay home. That medicine had just about killed my foot. It had disintegrated it down. It didn't even look like a foot anymore. It was about flat as a pancake. Wasn't able to walk. I was recording that CD though while I was screaming in pain. I would pause, oh, and go back. Screaming in pain. Then I'd pick up where I left off the last time. Go back and edit it. Chop it up. I'm never betting on anything that's not a guarantee. That's why I didn't try to turn my podcast or this gaming into a business, because I knew it wasn't secured. Now, if I had something that would probably guarantee me something that would be guaranteed and something couldn't, like some old bloated up thing couldn't take it, grab it out from under me, that I had to depend on their services. That's what YouTube and all of them did. They pulled the rugs out of people. I would have done it. I would have attempted, but I ain't attempting. No sense. I mean, I know with my big mouth, it's going to be over. Because I don't care about what people think. And I don't care who they are. I don't care if they call themselves a king. I don't care if they call themselves a prime minister. I don't care if they call themselves a pomper, a president, a manager, or whatever. If I got an opinion, I'm going to say it. I don't care whether you like it or not. And I use my freedom of speech. I've always used it. But sometimes there's consequences for that freedom of speech. And I'm not going to guarantee my livelihood in that. It's not secured, just like that judge asked. He asked all that. He asked them old women. They were coming up with all kinds of ideas for me. Oh, they had a whole bunch. That judge, he asked them, was any of this guaranteed? All this stuff they were like, some of them jobs they were talking about hadn't even started yet. 1999. He asked them, is any of this guaranteed? Well, I'm not going to give his livelihood based on this if it can't be guaranteed. He's disabled every amount. Indeed, he told me I was well over the law amount of disability. That's what he told me. In other words, whatever their law was, I met it well over their roof. I don't really like it. I don't like anything handed out. I ain't a handout person. But I can't just starve to death. I can't lay out on the corner for 40 years and wait for somebody to come along and heal me. You know what I'm saying? Starve to death. But I'm not gonna put this. I'm not gonna put any guarantee into this either. I'm never gonna launch this nor a podcast as a business. They just jerk them out from under you. That ought to be illegal, by the way. That ought to be considered criminal when they do stuff like that. It should be criminal. Them go in there and yank that stuff out for them people. Because a lot of them, they didn't just do it from a basement. Do it from a back room, their bedroom, or wherever they're at. Sometimes it's out in the yard. I've done many a podcasts on summer days out in the yard. Wherever I'm at. Sometimes if nobody's around, I'm in the living room. Just wherever I'm at. I did some on the road while we was going to Florida. My mom would aggravate me. She'd come back to the restroom, she'd start yelling. I'd be sitting there recording a podcast. It just depended on where I was at. Now, sometimes I'd record on where I was at. But a lot of people ain't doing that. They're not just out here just giving an opinion. They're trying to make a living, too. Yeah, because I know it's not guaranteed for me that I'm going to say something to screw things up. I wouldn't even be able to work for nobody's podcast company. Like I say, if they was hiring positions. Because I can't tell you what I'm going to say. That's one of the things I've addressed in my little thing about the my thing about trying to reprogram how I think. Self-control. Because I got none. I've got no filters on me, no. I kind of like that. But you know, if you was trying to do something, you wouldn't be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? You know that guy at the well, the beautiful well, whatever they call it, he laid there 40 years disabled before Paul come and healed him. And I have prayed that stuff, it just don't ever happen for me. And I can't tell you why it don't. I guess it's unbelief or something. I don't know. It don't happen for me. But I ain't giving up. It just ain't happened yet. All you have to do is believe. Only believe. I already own her. They've already owned her. She accidentally just got in the freaking car. She ain't got a weapon. It's that place that looks similar to the place. Looks similar to the Rosa Villa. That's exactly what the Rosa Villa looked like, y'all. Sometimes I've been laid back on the couch or something doing them podcasts. That ain't no work. Sometimes I just do them when I'm tired and about ready to go. Like last night I was picking up all my stuff. When I went live and told about my latest thought about. I've done that before, by the way, in the past, where I'd write down my prayers and play them back as I'm praying them and listening to them. Thinking, yes, Lord, let's keep that going. Yes, Lord. So like when you're listening to a preacher on the TV and he's praying and you're adding to it, but it's your own prayer. Pray it through. Pray it through. I ain't giving up though. If God heals me, I'll take it. He did it in the past. If he did it in the past, he'll do it now. He never changes. Or he's not real at all. If he don't heal, he's not real. And anybody who's pumping this stuff, and I can't talk about this here, I'll shut up. I'll talk about it on the podcast. That particular what I was fixing to say. Any church, I gotta shut up. Dang it, I gotta shut up. Maybe I ought to mute my microphone and go to podcasting right now while we're gaming. Because I got something to say. If they ain't got no faith in Jesus, I'm sorry. You don't need to be paying attention to that person. Because there I got faith and it ain't even happened for me yet. I've been praying that my whole life, Lord, I'm sick, heal me. I guess I just hadn't never prayed it through. You know, these people begging for communism, you don't want it when you got it. You don't want to live off of it, that chump change. You want the dream. When they're all forced to have it, it's going to be like the Soviet Union and the Cuba and all these other places where they're looking in, and it's going to be much harder to get it back then, because Cuba still ain't free. The Soviet Union fell, but Cuba still ain't free. Once they're in charge of you, it ain't easy to get it out of it. It takes big things to get out of it once it's there. Once it's there, it's there. And I realize that disability is a form of it. But when you're running businesses, you don't want to lose that right. You want to have the right to have your own business. You don't want it being government business. You ain't gonna want that communism when it comes, I'm telling you. History tells otherwise. I seen some paint on the wall. Let's see what it said. No crying zone. No crying zone. No crying, y'all. Yeah, you ain't gonna want it. You think all that. That's another thing. I ain't asking nobody to do it, or I just pay my credit card bills. I ain't asking nobody to pay it off for me. You know, these people, they go out here and they got themselves in student loan debt. I want my student loan paid off. I want my student loan paid off. No, you got yourself into it. You pay yourself out. Just like I'm doing. I take them, build out of my check every month and pay it on my credit cards in my PayPal account. My PayPal's the biggest one. I need to just let the things pay off. I'm going to have to start. You pay yourself out of it. You got it. I mean, it might have been different kind of debt, but it's still debt. And you didn't need. If you didn't need to go to school, you shouldn't have went. If you didn't have something specific that you needed to go for, you shouldn't have went. Just saying. I'm sorry. There's a guy. What's his name? Salente. He tells people to stay out of it. I think he fell for the racket. It's a racket, y'all. It's a racket. You don't need it unless you need it. Like, say, if you're wanting to be a doctor, well, you gotta go be a doctor. You gotta go learn how to be a doctor. You gotta go to school to be the doctor. Well, then you know what you're going for. You go to, if you're a lawyer, you're going to be a lawyer. So you need to go to law school. Medical school. Medical school is where you go when you're a doctor. See what I'm saying? But if you ain't got that kind of dream, people goes to journalism school, but you don't really need that. You could figure out journalism yourself. They just want the credentials all. You don't need to go to journalism school to learn how to journal. Hell, I know how this crap works. I've learned that. But I keep mine as opinion, because that's all I offer. That's my expertise. Some of my opinions are made by witnessing life from my perspective all these years. One thing I can tell you, you don't want to depend on that. That little chump change check. You don't want to depend on that. You want a living. Now, the thing about this free bloated money they're giving right now for people not to work, they're giving them more than you could get if you're working. But that's going to end as soon as they get us where they want you. You not get that? You won't be like them slaves in the Soviet Union and China when they get you where they're going. They're just giving you that now to pacify you to give up your rights. Give up your porridge. Like the guy in the Bible. He gave up his porridge. I know that was God's will in the end, because he didn't intend him to have the blessing. Esau. It was intended to be Jacob's blessing. But at the end of the day, he gave up his porridge. And then they tricked him out of the rest of it. The blessing. He not only gave up his birthright, he gave up his blessing. And they want y'all to give up your birthright. And you're probably thinking, well, you ain't never done nothing. Who are you to tell me that? Well, the point of it is, I'm just telling you some wisdom there. I wanted to do some things. But I ain't doing nothing with none of this because it's not dependable. It's like that woman was talking in that article. It's not dependable. Even my judge asked about that before he gave it to me. He was a good one, by the way. Those other two, I don't know nothing about. I didn't ever get to face them. I had to face him. It was my field. He was good. He asked some serious questions when they were talking about me because he told them I was disabled. Indeed, he told those old two women that. There's three of them, I think. I can't remember if there's two or three of them. He told them. He said, he's disabled. Well, he can do this and that. And some of them jobs I was talking about was future jobs. And he said, he can't depend on that. He's disabled. They were doing everything to keep me from getting it, though. They didn't want me getting it. It took me a year and a half to get it. Some people it takes longer than that. They didn't want me getting it. They tried everything to beat me out of that disability. And he told them, he's disabled. He was kind of worried about me because I was reclusive. He didn't like that. Oh, he didn't like that at all. I don't see nothing wrong with being reclusive. Michael Savage is reclusive, and he made a famous talk show host. Axl Rose is reclusive, and he made a famous rock star. I see nothing wrong with being reclusive, but he made a big deal. He had a fit about that. He said, boy, one thing that inspired me, you got to get you something to do. Well, now I did some things. I started going, back then I just stayed at home. I started going to concerts. He would have been proud of me there. He didn't want me sitting around the house all the time. He was worried about me because of that. He told me he was worried about that. He didn't think a young man my age should be like that. Back then I didn't even have my concerts. I didn't have no money to go to concerts. Living at my parents' home, I didn't have no money. You know what I'm saying? I'd probably been going to concerts back then. Hell, I loved music back then better than I do now. I don't like this junk today. It's junk. It's crap. Every bit of it. It doesn't appeal to me one iota. I'll listen to it and I think, huh? What's that? It don't appeal to me. Especially this woke stuff. That stuff really don't appeal to me. She lost some money. I didn't take no missions. I just drove around today. Oh God, I hit people. God didn't get the police on me. I still don't go nowhere unless I have to. I still want to be at home if I don't have to be anywhere else. I love Turnbuckle though. I like going to Turnbuckle. Especially when I get to do karaoke because it gets to, cause that's what I really want. Indeed, I think I don't remember if they asked me about that. Oh yeah, they did. I told them. Oh, I love karaoke. I told them. It was the old doctor you had to see that asked that. And I said, is there anything you like to do? Oh, I love karaoke. That's what I told him. Whoa! I love anything with music. Bands. I'd have loved to have a band. I should try to form me one and just do some stuff every once in a while. You find some people that just wanted to play and be just, in other words, they don't want to make it. They don't want to do it as a living. I wouldn't mind it. I love it. I'd have to book them based on when I can do them. It'd be like karaoke. Sometimes I'm not able to do it. I'd get ahead and try to form a band. I find some people who just wanted to play. I wouldn't mind having a band. They'd have to have expertise in Guns N' Roses, Nirvana, bands like that. I'd have to have a mixture because I'm widely mixed. A little bit of country, a little bit of rock, a little bit of industrial, a little bit of metal. That'd be hard to do for a band that wouldn't. You'd have to find some really diverse individuals. Okay. That'll probably never happen because I don't know anybody. But just imagine if I had saved all that money up over the years. If you'd saved enough of it, you could have bought your house. You know what I'm saying? Says my dumb 20-something, 30-something year old brain doesn't think about long term. It thought about short term. it thought about getting that CD recorded, getting that second CD recorded, getting that, and then eventually got to where it didn't matter, nothing matters like that anymore. Indeed, I'm worried more about the things that are coming than stupid stuff. But my short-term brain didn't think about that. That was silly. Save up all that money and put it. I mean, I know it was overtime, but put it in. It was years later when I finally figured it out, like 2016. I sat down and I figured out what I wasted in it by the time I paid those $190 per song. And I had to pay for the master, and what was it, $300 for the master. It was all for nothing. I wasn't doing it for a living, you know. I was just doing it for a kick to do an album. Something rich people do. But I was a dumb, poor idiot. Wasting money I didn't really have to waste. It was silly. It was silly, y'all. It was actually silly. I need to get off here. I'm hungry. I am hungry. Yeah, it was silly. See, because I've done it over a period of time, I wasn't even thinking about what I was putting into it. Okay. Reckless night. I need a reckless night. She really is reckless. Oh, I'm not feeling good. Still too tired. I'm starting to itch again. She got the po-po on her booty. I just gotta get off. The neck's giving too. Lordy. Lordy, 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 Miss Claw. I didn't even get to do anything. I just drove around. Too bad she can't hide in the bushes. You know, it'd be good if you could put her in the bushes and it's quiet. Let's see if they find her. Let's see if they find her in the bushes. Is she up to 15 or I can't tell if she's still 14? Let's see if she can hide in the bushes. Did she get away? Okay, well, I'm going to take this as my out, y'all. I'll see y'all later. I'll try to be back on tonight. Maybe I won't be talking about this other stuff tonight. I was just thinking to myself about how dumb I was at times.